Jack Thorne, famed witch hunter, rode into the village of Elmwood with his head held high. The villagers lined the muddy street, a mix of awe and fear on their faces. Jack was used to it. After all, he had a reputation to uphold. "Where's your elder?" he called out, his voice carrying over the crowd. A portly man with a balding head stepped forward, wringing his hands. "That'd be me, sir. Tobias Green. We're mighty grateful you've come." Jack dismounted, his leather coat creaking. "Tell me about these witch problems of yours." As Tobias rambled on about crop failures and sickly livestock, Jack's eyes scanned the crowd. He'd done this enough to know that the real trouble often hid in plain sight. His gaze settled on a young woman at the back, her eyes downcast. She was pretty, in a plain sort of way, but something about her made the hairs on the back of Jack's neck stand up. "Who's that?" he interrupted, nodding towards the girl. Tobias followed his gaze. "Oh, that's just Lily." But she looked up, her green eyes meeting his, and for a moment, Jack felt a jolt of something, fear, excitement. He couldn't quite place it. "You'll be coming with me, miss," he said gruffly. "Got some questions for you." Lily didn't resist, as he led her to the village inn. Once inside a private room, Jack began his interrogation. But with each question, he found himself more confused. Lily's answers were straightforward, her manner calm. She spoke of herbs and remedies, of communing with nature. It all seemed so innocent. As the night wore on, Jack felt his certainty slipping. He'd come to Elmwood sure of his purpose, but now he wasn't so sure. "Show me," he said finally. "Show me this communion with nature." Lily hesitated, then nodded. "Follow me." She led him into the woods, the full moon casting eerie shadows through the trees. They came to a small clearing where Lily knelt on the ground. She began to hum softly, her fingers trailing through the grass. And then, to Jack's, the air filled with their sweet scent, and Jack felt a wave of peace wash over him. "This is my magic," Lily said softly. "Is it evil?" Jack opened his mouth to respond, but no words came out. Everything he'd believed, everything he'd fought for, it all seemed to crumble in the face of this simple, beautiful display. But as he stood there grappling with his thoughts, he failed to notice the shadows deepening around them, failed to see the way the trees seemed to lean in, their branches reaching out like grasping fingers. It was only when he heard the first scream from the village that Jack realized his mistake. He'd been so focused on Lily, so caught up in his own crisis of faith, that he'd missed the real threat. Lily's smile turned cold as the screams multiplied. "You hunters," she said, her voice no longer soft, but sharp as a blade, "always so sure of yourselves. Did it never occur to you that a real witch might be powerful enough to hide in plain sight, to plant doubts in your mind? The village was never the target," she whispered. "It was you, the great Jack Thorne, pride of the witch hunters, with you out of the way. Who will stand against us?" As the vines tightened and the village burned, Jack Thorne, famed witch hunter, realized he'd made a terrible, terrible mistake, and in the heart of the dark woods, no one could hear him scream.